All right, folks, we're back. Welcome to the Georgia Hour. I appreciate you being here today. It's Tuesday, 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day, we spend time focused on the state of Georgia. So before we wrap up for the morning, let me say this. Was announced this morning, number 78. We will see a lot of political maneuvering. We'll see a lot of political maneuvering as 2026. The Gainesville mayor is challenging Representative Andrew Clyde in the primary. So in the 9th Congressional District, Gainesville Mayor Sam Calavano, I guess that's a Calavano, launched a primary challenge on yesterday, against Republican U.S. Andrew Clyde, a member of the ultra-conservative House Freedom Caucus, who has sometimes broken rank with his own party. So he is entering the 2026 race with an announcement that emphasized his conservative record as the top elected official in Gainesville and his results-driven approach. It made no mention of Clyde and the third-term incumbent. So this is a primary challenge from the mayor of Gainesville, a Republican, primary challenge to Andrew Clyde in the 9th District. This will be a very interesting 2026. We did a full breakdown of 2026 and what's getting ready to happen in the state of Georgia. Now, one more thing before we go to the Georgia GOP. I want to talk about that for a minute before I get out. Today, number 76. Transgender bill highlights tension in Georgia GOP race for governor. Now, right now, Lieutenant Governor Burt JOnes has not officially announced. He's not officially announced that he's running for governor, but we all know that. He will make his official announcement after the legislative session is complete. All right. Once the legislative session is complete, he will make official announcement. Now, Chris Carr, the Attorney General, has already announced that he is running for governor. And at the time, I suspect the governor's race to have 2 or 3 more. I don't know exactly who will be in the governor's race for 2026, but these two are already trading barbs to lay the groundwork for their campaign for 2026. Give me number 77. Georgia Senate Republicans are opening a new front in their battle against transgender rights. And this time they're targeting legal settlement that allow Georgia employees to get transgender-related health care through the state health benefit plan. Now, Chris Carr, the Attorney General, settled a lawsuit on that, and Georgia employees can get transgender-related health care under Georgia Health Benefit Plan. And that is because of Attorney General Chris Carr. So keep that in mind. Attorney General Chris Carr is running for governor. He is the reason that, again, in Georgia, employees can get transgender-related health care through their state health benefit plan. But it also has roots in the brewing GOP race for governor between Attorney General Chris Carr, who announced his campaign in November, and Lieutenant Governor Burt JOnes, who is expected to join the race within months. A proposal to be introduced today by Republican State Senator Blake Tillery of Vidalia and backed by Burt Jones, would block the state health insurance plan from covering hormone therapy and surgical procedures for transgender employees seeking treatment for their transition. So they're going to enter a bill today to stop that. But you got to keep in mind, Chris Carr, the Attorney General of Georgia, is the reason why in the state of Georgia, the state health plan covers hormone therapy, surgical procedures for transgender employees in their transition in Georgia, whether you know that or not. And again, being redundant, that's State Attorney General Chris Carr is the reason, because he settled a lawsuit. The state was pushing back and saying no. Chris Carr settled it. State-owned or operated healthcare facilities, as well as state-employed healthcare providers, would also be barred from providing gender-affirming care. The measure includes exceptions for certain medical conditions. So we want to push back and put legislation in place to stop it. And that's on the Senate side. But remember something. I think I had it here a minute ago. Don't forget this. Number 36, John Burns, the Speaker of the House, right? Allowed number 35. He is the one last March that allowed a man, right here, transgender pastor to Georgia legislature. John Burns allowed the first man that thinks he's a woman to say a prayer over our Georgia State House as pastor of the day last March. Attorney General Chris Carr is the one that made the settlement that allows employees, state employees, hormone therapy and transgender care. Wow. The Georgia Hour with BKP. So I want to wrap up, and tomorrow we'll get into some legislation, but I want to wrap up. Give me number 30. First of all, Fannin County Republican Party. Fannin County Republican Party 2025 Valentine's Day dinner, February 8th, 2025. All right. And give me number 31. This is Georgia Republican Party key convention dates. Now, I want to wrap up with this. I've got some things to do. I might not be here exactly until 11 o'clock, but I did a full segment the other day, and I'm going to just remind you of something. In the state of Georgia, within 5 years, Republicans have lost 19 state house seats. 19, right? There's 180 state house seats. We are down to 100 to 80. We lost 19 in 5 years. In 5 years, the state of Georgia, we've lost 5 state Senate seats. 5 state Senate seats in 5 years in the state of Georgia. We lost 2 U.S. Senate seats. Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. We lost 2 state Senate seats, U.S. Senate seats. Now, we've talked about the congressional seats and the maps. Let me tell you something. The 9th district and the 14th district, we talked about that in our segment. The 9th district and the 14th district of Georgia was 2 of 5 of the most strongest. The 9th District of Georgia, now keep this in mind, there was 3 districts in the United States. The 9th District, I don't remember the numbers, a district in Texas, and a district in Kentucky. The 3 most Republican voting districts in the United States, the 9th in Georgia, a district in Texas, and a district in Kentucky. 3 largest voting districts, Republican voting districts in the United States. The 14th, right behind there. But in the last redistricting, they diluted the 9th. Now, I love my friends from Gwinnett. I really do. Great people. And then they moved the 14th, as we've discussed before, down into Cobb County. They diluted the R, the plus R, in the 9th and the 14th. Now, the reason I bring that up is if you want to take the time to look it up, you can. There's an appeal right now in court fighting our current districts, our current state, Senate, and congressional districts again in court, saying that we don't have districts that represent the Black population, and they want new districts drawn, House, state, Georgia House, state Senate, and congressional. They want these districts realigned to represent the Black population in Georgia. And that's in the courts right now. They're not stopping fighting that in Georgia. Now, the reason I bring this up, if we have to draw lines once again in Georgia, if we do, and it's coming to that, or in 2026, we would only be 4 short years away from the next census and redistricting in Georgia. Where are they going to draw from? If lines have to be drawn again, the only thing they could do is continue to dilute the 9th and the 14th, to keep pulling the R down, right? From up in the 30s to the low 30s, to the high 20s, to the mid 20s. That's all they can do next, is keep diluting those strong R districts down. So the reason I tell you that, it's very important right now that we have all the county chair. We do not have a chairman, okay? I'm not impartial here. This is not a balanced segment. Josh McCoon, the current Georgia GOP chair, does not have the management skills or the ability to protect Republicans in 2026. He doesn't have the management skills or the ability to focus on what's going on and how to turn this ship around and stop the trends going the wrong direction right there. Stop and move the other way. Doesn't have it. So the reason I say that is, in this upcoming election cycle for the Georgia GOP, we must have good county chairs. Now, the establishment want back in. They want to run it all. And what the establishment has done, and I'll go into great detail, is they've put some plants in place, and they've made some deals with some people that come to you under the guise of being grassroots. Now, we have just overused and diluted grassroots like you would not believe. Everybody says they are the grassroots candidate. This is the grassroots issue of the day. That is over abused grassroots. So we have to have the correct people as county chairs. We have to have the right people as district chairs, and we have to have state party officials and a state chair that gets it and puts a stop to the erosion and changes the direction this party is headed. Now, I told you this yesterday, and I told you the other day. I mean, Charlie Kirk with Turning Point and those young people, great. But they're not coming in for 2026. You're not going to see the money come in for 2026 like that. Trump's not on the ballot. All these other groups, they're not coming in 2026. And the Georgia GOP has proven they can't raise money. They've proven they're not effective on statewide races, state races, or state senate. They've proven they're ineffective. They have. So we have to understand this now and do the right thing. So here's the thing, all right? February 22nd, the over 80. March 22nd, county precinct caucuses for the under 80. And then March 22nd, everyone's convention. March 22nd, the county conventions. You got to pick your delegates to your district. You got to pick your delegates to the state. Very important. And that's in March, county convention. April 26th, your district conventions. And then June 6th and 7th, the state convention over in Dalton, Georgia. And we must turn the Georgia GOP Inc. around immediately. And the current people in the leadership roles, there are some great county chairmen in the state, great people. There's a handful, not bad, of district chairs. But where we really have to make a turn is several of the district chairs, and the state offices have to be, with the exception of Treasury. I don't know on Treasury, the Treasury. So sorry for that. Okay, getting wound up. As far as the treasurer's concerned, if Lori McClain runs again, that would be a positive for the Georgia GOP. If Lori McClain runs again, that would be a positive as far as treasurer. All right. David Cross has announced a run for chairman. Okay. And but we need to fill the secretary slot, the second vice chair, and the first vice chair. I've not heard any candidates there, but we got to keep the establishment away, and we've got to make major organizational changes. Let me give you this. We have to put spending limits on the chairman of the Georgia GOP. Must put spending limits. I'll go into detail later. They cannot just have the ability to spend what they want with who they want and enter contracts with anyone unbeknownst to the rest of the state. And they can currently do that. It has to stop. So hopefully there's another announcement coming out, but in the 9th district, and we'll get into that later, we are looking for a new 9th district chairman. I understand there's an announcement coming out of another candidate, but that's pretty well where I am at. We're still asking for the resignation of John Burns, Speaker of the House of the state of Georgia. And number 37, we're asking for the resignation of Keith Williams, the guy that manhandled Colton Moore. I'm out. I will see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Don't hesitate. Send me any news articles, information, text messages, video clips, whatever you choose. I'm your host, BKP. You've been watching the Georgia Hour, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Take us out of here, Diane.